that rampant crime and the kind of degeneration of America's greatest cities has been a conscious decision by our political leaders. Has there been a comparable example in history or even in modern Western times of a great power deciding to no longer be great? And your thoughts on the federalization of Washington, D.C., as President Donald Trump uses federal force to clean up our nation's capital?
I think it's a constant feature of declining societies, especially declining empires, that they lose the will to make the hard choices, that decisions become increasingly difficult because everyone wants to avoid accountability and responsibility. Laws get put into place just to protect the criminals because ultimately it's fear of the process that people worry about, not the fear of the actual crime. The people who are being victimized are put below the others. Their rights are less important than the rights of the criminal. I think that what we're seeing with Donald Trump right now is the willingness to say, no, law and order is what matters. The safety of the American people is what matters. And we're not going to let a bunch of soft on crime laws and everybody else who's trying to put all of these barriers between us and keeping the people safe. We're going to start ignoring those. We have the authority to do so. The Constitution grants Congress the ultimate legislative authority over Washington, D.C. It was never supposed to be its own city with its own political interests, and it certainly wasn't supposed to increase crime by putting these type of soft on crime policies in place. I think a lot of people have been waiting for moves like this from Donald Trump, and they're very encouraged to see him taking this kind of action.
I actually agree with this. I mean, there's no doubt about what he's saying, and that is a huge fact, because what people don't kind of fail to believe is that ever since you put the Democratic Party in place, nothing but crime has increased. They have pretty much given criminals a slap on the wrist. And like I said before, the only reason matter of fact, they also decided to defund the police, which was a huge fucking mistake, because they assume that police only attack black people, when I can tell you for a fact that is definitely not true. And another thing is that this, whatever they call this thing, like police in the streets, as far as like this civilian situation, I can't even give the name of it in particular. And I said this once before, the only reason why they wanted to defund the police, and this is for many people who decided to actually go with this situation, and I know for a fact that some people made a mistake and decided to go rock with this situation as well, but some of the people who want to actually put a law on crime is the people that want to pretty much, like, how should I say, okay, I'm trying to get the words out correctly. They're trying to police what they want to police instead of with the opportunity of getting away with the crimes they commit personally. Like, and this is for not everybody, but this is for a lot of people who were with that beyond the Black Lives Matter movement as well. And it's pretty much mostly black people who cause most of the crime amongst other black people. Police are getting hunted down by black people these days because of the bullshit they listen to in the movies, from what they hear from their parents, and also from the music that they hear. Remember Fuck the Police? Do you remember that? Because there's pretty much a lot of different songs in general, particularly rap, that promoted this bullshit. And from my perspective and from what I've been through, I have never, ever had an issue with any police officer in my life. Now, I can tell you, I've only had one issue that it was a smidge, but that was pretty much a lie, because I was told that I wasn't going to be, and yes, I have a small rap sheet, but it was based on lies. I could talk about that. I don't mind being transparent about situations, but he lied to me and told me that I was only going to be there for a couple of hours, and yet instead I was there for 3 fucking months. So I don't believe police are not after black people. Now you can. There's a smidgen. There's a small amount of people who do hate. Are racist. Now, don't get me wrong. However, you should not be having the good suffer for what the bad people do. This is why you vet out. This is why you actually properly interview these people and know what their background is. Because, yeah, at some point, yes, some of these fucking people some of these counties be hiring shady fucking people. And we don't know who that is. This is why it's called properly vetting for the right candidate to be in the police force. And I don't understand why black people in general have this right mind. Trust me, you probably wouldn't believe this, but when I was literally still back home in New Orleans and stuff like that, I seen literally a police officer literally slam a fucking teen who was literally fucking going out of control. A Caucasian teen in Jefferson Parish for fucking with a police officer in the wrong way. And he got what he fucking deserved. And this is why we are actually supposed to be hard on the kids because, and this is, for you ladies, you gotta accept it, you gotta understand that the reason why fathers are hard on their kids because life is gonna be fucking way worse. Possibly 10 times as worse. And this is why we're hard on them. But let's finish it up. I know I'm rambling, but yeah, I mean, you got to understand the point.
Of course, the press is up in arms over all of it. And it's not that crime is hard to stop. It's that it's mildly unpleasant to stop. And we have decided that if some groups will go to prison more often than others, then it's just not worth having real laws.
Yeah, Charlie,
that's what reflected. Yeah, please, Aaron, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just that we see that reflected all over our society, that ultimately what people are worried about more is offense than actual safety. And so over and over again, we see people choosing not to offend certain groups, to placate certain politically correct theories about how society works, as opposed to look at how society is really working and taking action. And so a lot of people will notice, for instance, that certain groups, such as Black Americans, often commit higher crimes, but it is unfashionable to admit this, and noticing that more of these people would go to jail should people be actually arrested and the law enforced means that we have to pull back on the actual crime enforcement. And I believe you've talked to Steve Saylor about this kind of impact that we see over again from kind of the perceptions our society has about how we should treat crime. And this is ultimately damaging people. So once again, like you said, we know how to solve this problem. It's not that crime is a mystery. We know what works, but we simply chose not to enforce it because ultimately crime is a policy choice. You can choose between actually enforcing the law and keeping people safe and having a free and equal society in which you understand that ultimately some groups who commit more crimes may end up in jail more often, or you can play, this game of obfuscating what's actually going on, being soft on these policies, ultimately hurting the very people who are contributing to society, just so you can please a bunch of people who ultimately probably aren't voting, aren't contributing, aren't being involved in the body politic anyway.
And the crazy part is, and this is particularly for Black people, this is not just for Black people, this is for every fucking body. The truth is, most of these people know who the criminals are, but they're afraid to turn them in. If you really believe that snitches get stitches, you are a fucking fool. I remember who brought that bullshit up, and it was none other than P fucking Diddy. He's the one. I can't fucking remember if it was before him, but I remember fucking vaguely, I was in fucking high school when this shit happened. It literally said snitches get fucking stitches. And I believe he was fucking performing live doing something on BET. I will never fucking forget that shit. A lot of people do not have fucking balls to step up to the plate and actually fucking know how to lead. You know something? The problem is, and the reason why a lot of people lost their lives is when they try to step up to the fucking plate. because they literally believe that snitches get stitches. That's not true. It's not true at all. And for the black community, they know who the fuck the criminals are. Like, single family households is the huge cause of this problem. And you might not like what I'm saying, but the truth is, single family households are the root cause of this fucking problem. And I'm a witness to it. Luckily, I left just like my other brother did. We both left our mother, and she had an extra son, 3 sons, and he's the youngest. Not only that, spoiled as fuck. And till this day, I got news a couple of weeks ago that he is currently locked the fuck up. But that's me saying that because guess what? I can actually attest for it. I don't understand why. And you know the worst part about it is? The mothers that create these criminals always hide them. But nobody thinks about that either. These moms raise these boys to be the husbands that they wanted instead of the husbands that they need. Instead of finding the husband that they need in their life, they raise these boys to be the husband that they wanted, which caused these boys to be more rebellious without having a father in their home, in the home, listening to all this fucking music, watching all this fucking shit on TV, just not even having an uncle in their life, nobody in their life, like no male role model in their life, and cause them to put themselves with a group of people to cause crime. Now you can say, oh, he's a good boy and all this type of shit. But guess what? When you look at the basketball players who are popping fucking babies, when you look at the football players who are doing nothing but popping fucking babies, what do you think you're going to get? Because a lot of them ain't even in the child's life. Oh, remember Nick Cannon? Oh, remember Future? But you don't think about that.
Mike Cernovich had a phenomenal tweet last evening where MSNBC's up in arms and they're saying, oh, this is just a bunch of lies. DC, the crime is coming down. Understand, it's down from record highs post 2020, but it's not down of where it was 20 years ago. But this is an open offer, and Cernovich was exactly right. For any member of the press, this shows the fraud that they are. Why don't you go walk the Navy Yard with a GoPro at midnight, no armed security, no weapons, and live stream what you see? Why don't you go walk the Navy Yard, MSNBC, any one of these members of the press? You don't get any armored cars, no police support. Just walk the streets, show us how safe they are, and then, by the way, you'll get big ratings. Expose the president's lies. I could walk the streets of Tokyo at night. When I walk the streets of Tokyo, there'll be no thugs or gangbangers, criminal members. All these members of the press, this is the key, they live in Northern Virginia or Maryland. Why don't they just live over the Anacostia River? It's a lot closer to where they work. And of course, the key element of this is they're big talkers, but they even know how wildly undangerous Washington, D.C. has come. You mentioned something such as disparate impact. Aaron, do you believe this idea of disparate impact, that more black people might go to jail if you're tough on crime? Is that one of the modern original sins as to why we have allowed the country to descend into a more dangerous and at times third world unrecognizable environment?
Oh, absolutely. And people have to understand that this is actually encoded into our law. The Civil Rights Act originally was implemented with the idea that, of course, we wanted equal treatment for people of all races in the United States. But what quickly happened is that the courts developed this doctrine of disparate impact and the idea that if there's ever any difference between group outcomes, whether it be education or crime or anything else, that the only answer to that different result is racism. It's de facto racism. Even if you didn't mean to be racist, it means that you are racist. And this doctrine impacts everything in our society. The Sheetz gas station lost a lawsuit against the federal government last year. They brought a civil rights lawsuit against this gas station because it was excluding people from employment due to background checks. And more often than not, background checks that exclude people were excluding more Black and other minority members during the selection process. So even though it was just a background check for criminal activity, because it disproportionately produced results that kept Black Americans from getting jobs there, they lost the lawsuit. They were in violation of the Civil Rights Act. And this attitude impacts everything, our policing, our schools. I used to be a public school teacher. I was in a majority minority school. And in that school, it was made very clear that we could not discipline or fail our students because they were minority students, and disproportionately that would show that we were racist, even though they were the majority of the student body. And it would simply make sense that more minority students were going to be failed or expelled in that environment. It didn't matter. So this doesn't just affect crime in DC. This affects how your child is educated in the public school down the street.
That is correct, but this is crazy. So this place got sued because of a background check? Let me tell you something, and this is my honest opinion. Black people have been abusing the Civil Rights Act for fucking decades. For fucking decades. Not only that, it's gotten worse because feminists have been abusing the fucking Civil Rights Act. After that, you have the pride community that's been fucking abusing the Civil Rights Act. But Black people have been abusing the Civil Rights Act for decades. People have every right to do a background check. I do believe that's supposed to be the qualifications, right? Like how you hire people based on merit. Like let's just say if I'm fucking going to hire somebody who's only done a job for 3 months and decide to quit, compared to a person with a longer record of work ethics who's been doing the same job for years, who the fuck you think I'm gonna pick? Especially, what the fuck skin color has to do with this? You know, I've been looking through every video and I had to look like vastly like amount of videos, and so far I haven't seen nothing wrong this man like Charlie Kirk has said. I haven't even seen anything he's said wrong thus far, and people are getting offended because of what Charlie Kirk said. There's a such thing called snippets. People take snippets of videos just to make people look bad. Just snippets. Not even giving a thought to having to fucking like check the whole context of the conversation, but they want to take small snippets just to make people look bad. Do y'all know how to think for yourselves? Like, I want you to think about this. And I want all you liberals to think about this. Do y'all know what thinking for yourself means? Why would I fucking jump out of a flying, like a fucking flying, why the fuck would I jump off a bridge and listen to other people do the same, like listen to other people say that shit, instead of saying, like thinking for myself, like, I mean, am I gonna bust my head open? And you know what? They're gonna get pissed off because I decided not to fucking die. And they fall off to their death. Yes, it's a bad example, but it still fucking makes sense. Let me tell you something about this black fucking community. Let me tell you something about the pride community. Let me tell you something about all these fucking communities. At the end of the day, they don't give a flying fuck about you. They are trying to feed off your fucking emotions, okay? That's all they're trying to do. Just like the feminists, they are trying to feed off your fucking emotions to gain clout, to make money. They are not going to do anything for you. They are not going to come out of their fucking pocket and give you a damn thing. Like Umar Johnson, ain't give a fucking thing for y'all. Nothing. And all he's doing is constantly race baiting. Look at the Black Lives Matter movement. Ain't a fucking thing come out of it. Because nobody in that fucking, none of the fucking victims got a damn thing. So why the fuck are y'all calling yourselves part of a community when your community didn't do anything for you? I represent myself. I represent the people who actually understand me. I am transparent and I am honest about everything I say. And the fact of the matter is that you want to keep following stupid people makes you part of the problem. This is why I tell people all the time, you need to learn how to love yourself first.
The Civil Rights Act was a new founding where we decided to discard the U.S. Constitution and reconstitute the story, the mantra, the creed, and the vision of America. And you even see this in Republican circles as well. Well, they say, well, you know, the Civil Rights Act corrected a lot of the errors of the Constitution. No, it didn't. The Civil Rights Act was a completely new creation. Of course, it was well intended by some. We have acknowledged that many times. But the Civil Rights Act at its core was a new founding. It was the discard what happened prior. The Constitution says people have equal rights. Imagine just treating people equally. The Civil Rights Act does not treat people equally because the legal theory under the Civil Rights Act is disparate impact. And so therefore you can't arrest a bunch of criminals in DC because you might be disproportionately arresting black men, and that might be deemed as racist.
I'm Elmer.
You know something? And that's the truth. I honestly, they think it's really racist, and I don't think it is racist at all. Just because a specific demographic does more of the crime, I do believe they should fucking do the time. Like, seriously, I don't understand what's the fucking problem with this shit. The problem with y'all is y'all broke up ever since this fucking Civil Rights Act came into play. Y'all broke up y'all fucking homes because y'all were jealous of fucking Caucasian people. Y'all broke up y'all fucking home for fucking government assistance. I'm gonna tell you right now, back in the days, there were people fucking making money. There were people with common sense. Unlike you black motherfuckers, what happened was y'all decided to fucking go left instead of going right. I can tell you firsthand, my fucking family, like on my dad's side, they actually had a fucking plan. But somewhere down the line, they decided to go fucking left, and the generation after them ruined the whole fucking thing. They had plenty of opportunities back in the fucking day. But on my mom's side, you know what happened? My grandmother popped fucking baby after baby after baby after baby. just to get fucking government assistance. It's a fucking shame. You have plenty of opportunities. There were fucking so many fucking Black Wall Streets that exist. Even in fucking Tremaine, Louisiana. If you don't know anything about Tremaine, look it up because it's located in New Orleans. And you know what happened? Y'all decided to vote fucking Democrat and they destroyed every fucking thing. Why? Because guess what? They wanted to get rid of the fucking competition. Bourbon Street was still the only fucking place left where the history still exists. Because guess what? They decided to fucking build a bridge over Tremaine. And you know why they built the bridge over Tremaine? Let's put it like this. People like sunlight. And what a bridge does, it brings darkness. Y'all decided to fuck this up for yourselves. You can't blame Caucasian people for this shit. Republicans gave y'all an opportunity and y'all fucked it up. Y'all sold yourselves out. Your generation beforehand decided to sell y'all out. They sold their homes. And hell, I can tell you for real, like seriously, after Katrina, most of those motherfuckers decided to take the money and leave. Most of them decided to fucking take the money and had illegal immigrants fucking building those houses for cheap. So don't think that black people didn't believe in slavery too, because black people own slaves too. They did it for cheap labor. You think that's cool? And look at now. They still can't get the fucking housing done. Katrina still fucking put a hole in that city. It is phenomenal that y'all don't have the right mindset. Like seriously, I bust my ass to get out here in Washington State. I put in the fucking work. I'm still putting in work. I put in 12 to 16-hour days into not only my job, my 9 to 5, but actually putting in work and talking to people like you ignorant motherfuckers. All you stupid liberals don't understand. The Democrats don't give a flying fuck about you. So I need people to think, think for once. What the hell did the Democrats do to you? Like, what do they do to help you? Because guess what? That Biden situation of, what's that? The student loans forgiveness bullshit? Yeah. Where is it? These Democrats have been lying to you. And y'all don't get it yet. It's phenomenal to have to see people just completely out of the box. Inciting racism. You got nothing but liberals inciting racism. Constantly inciting racism. Thinking that they on your side when they really don't give a fluff, like flying fuck. Not only that, they're encouraging illegal immigrants because they, just like every fucking Democrat for hundreds of years, believed in fucking slavery. And guess what? One day y'all gonna get this to your head. One day. The Democrats will never, and I do mean never, as many times as you think they do, will never give a flying fuck about you. And you know something? I'm going to tell you right now, me personally, don't even talk about no fucking black card because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You know when I've been distancing myself from fucking being black? when I fucking left Louisiana, I don't think of myself as black. I am not black. I am Creole American. I know more about my fucking own history because I have people in my fucking life that still looks out for me till this day. So if you do not know anything about your own history, you need to learn how to fucking forgive and let go. Because the only person who was preventing themselves from succeeding, from being prosperous, from actually making it somewhat better in life, is your damn self. So let me know your thoughts.